Hello, boys and girls. Recently, we've studied translations, and we looked at what a translation is, and we studied that a translation is a figure that has been moved somewhere on the coordinate or quadrant grid. And a translation, when it's moved, it doesn't flip, it doesn't rotate, it doesn't resize, it just moves across from one part of the quadrant grid to another part of the quadrant grid. And as you've seen, the translation, its shape stays the same. Again, no flipping or rotating. Now, what about a reflection? Well, what is it, and what does it mean to reflect a figure on the quadrant grid with the y and the x-axes? I'm going to reflect this six-sided figure. It's an irregular hexagon. And I'm going to reflect it. I'm going to reflect it over a particular line. When you reflect a figure, it could be flipped or reflected over the y-axis, or it could be flipped over the x-axis. It could actually be flipped or reflected over any line on the coordinate or quadrant grid. So watch this. I'll reflect this six-sided figure right over this x-axis right here. What do you think will happen? What will it look like at the end? Uh-huh. Is that what you predicted? Now I'm going to reflect this six-sided figure over this line over here. What do you think will happen? Is that what you were thinking? And now I think I'll reflect this six-sided figure over this line over here. What do you think will happen? What will it look like? That's the line we're reflecting it over. Alright, and one last time, just so you know, these lines that we reflect the figure over, they're called mirror lines. Okay? Do you realize you're creating a mirror image of the figure? Your reflection is the mirror image of this. And I'm going to pose to you one more question after this, or maybe a couple. But I'm going to reflect this six-sided figure now over this y-axis line. I'm going to get a mirror image of it. But my question is this. What happens to the x and y coordinates when I'm reflecting a figure? When I reflect a figure over the y mirror line, or any type of y-axis, what happens to the y and x coordinates? Would the y coordinates stay the same and the x coordinates change? Would the x coordinates stay the same and the y coordinates change? Would both coordinates change, x and y numbers? I'm going to reflect this now over the y-axis, but I could reflect it over any y vertical mirror line. Watch. And you'll see the mirror image taking place. Now, when it went from this image to this image, what happened to the x and y coordinate pairs? The x numbers, of course, are the first number listed in the pair, and the y numbers are the second number listed in the pair.